Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's video I'm going to show you how I sketch and paint this picture of Istanbul Street. I used this photo from my phone as a reference. I'm gonna use these materials: sketchbook with medium thick paper, which I use for acrylics and gouache. This paper doesn't have much texture, so it's not so much useful for watercolors, but for some thick paint it's perfect. These are my acrylic paints. Also I'm gonna use this color palette for mixing colors. For acrylic paint I like to use different types of tips, straight and round ones, and these brushes with long and thin tips are perfect for small details. For the sketch I'm going to use white pencil and eraser. Why I'm gonna use white color? Because first, before the sketch, I will put some base color, and I like how white pencil looks on a colorful layer. Also we're gonna need a jar of water and some paper towels for cleaning and drying the brushes. Let's look at our reference photo. I like it mostly because of these yellow taxi cabs. This bright contrast color really pops out compared to gray and unsaturated background. I like this pyramid and several layers of building, and as you know, I love drawing small details, and in these buildings there are many small windows. I know that drawing all these windows not gonna be easy, but it will make our picture to look really interesting for investigating small details. Before starting the sketch, I'm gonna use color base for our picture. Usually I'm using the opposite color of the main color mood of the reference. For example, if in the picture most of the colors are warm, then I'm gonna use cold color for our base, and vice versa. You can use color wheel for checking the complementary colors. These are the colors that work with each other the best: yellow and purple, orange and blue, red and green, and so on. In our reference photo most of the colors are neutral, so I can use any color I want for our base. But I think that purple color will look really nice here, maybe because it's complementary color to our yellow, the color of the taxi cars. I'm using paper clips for keeping the paper from wrinkles. When the paint is dry, I start sketching. I don't try to be perfectly precise and realistic in proportions. I like to keep my drawings a little bit messy and with childish naive vibes. Next step is to choose the main colors. There is a trick how to make your painting look good, is not to use too many colors, because it can make your painting look messy and dirty. In our picture the main and the brightest color will be yellow, then green color for the trees, and I try to make it less saturated and more dark. Then colors that I'm gonna use for the buildings, this pastel red and dirty grays. Dark colors for the shadows. I decided to make them with cold tones and a little bit purple. After creating these main colors I can manage them a little bit, see if I can make the combination look better and more balanced, and after that I'm starting the painting. I paint the picture step by step, from big shapes to small details. For the first layer we need to simplify our photo into base shapes and fill them with flat colors. Here is an example how I see it in my head. As you can see, our layer of paint is partially transparent, but I want the paint look more dense and solid, so it's time for the next layer, where I'm gonna indicate volumes, shadows and details. I start with the top. I'm gonna paint the clouds, add some volume to the sky, and then I move on to the buildings and add the windows. Most of them are blue and cold gray. When the paint is dry, I'm gonna add window frames and dark contours using thin long brush. That's what I love about acrylic paint, its ability to totally cover previous layers, so I can adjust the shades until they are perfect. And if I make mistake, I can fix it easily. Moving on to the second line of buildings, adding a tree using the darkest shade of green, so it will stand out in front of the building. If the paint looks too transparent for you, just add second layer on top after it's dry. My favorite part is adding these tiny sparkles of white paint, in this case indicating gaps in the trees. Without this small step, the objects may look empty and dull, so don't forget this tip. White paint can help you to separate object from background, how I'm doing right here with Mosque rooftop. The brick wall is pretty hard to draw, so I decided to simplify it to series of chaotic dots with lighter and darker shade. And then I continue drawing the details, constructing the picture piece by piece like a puzzle. I know that many artists listen to music while drawing, or they watch some TV shows, but I love watching YouTube Let's Players. It's fun and not distracting me from the picture, because I don't need to focus too much on what's going on in there. Moving on to buses. They are one of the most contrast objects here, so I'm gonna use the darkest bluish purple color for mirrors and pure white for roofs. The yellow colors in the pictures are different. For example, yellow of the buses is more dirty and dark compared to vivid and clean yellow of the taxi cabs. I paint people very simplified, just dots for faces and simple shapes for bodies. The taxi cabs are the main objects here. All the attention will go first to them, that's why we need to paint them more carefully. First I fill all three cars with flat shapes, indicating windows, wheels and shadows, and after that I paint details. When everything is finished, I look for missing details or mistakes that I overlooked, and I add finishing touches. I hope this video was helpful to you, and if you enjoyed it, feel free to like it, subscribe to my channel, leave the comment and let me know if you want more tutorials from me. Thank you so much for watching and see you next time.